And the purpose of this today is I want to announce the formation of the Criminal Justice Policy Assessment Council. Criminal Justice Policy Assessment Council. The purpose of this council is to address the fact that we know that incarcerations have been on the rise, drug use and drug overdoses have been on the rise, recidivism has been on the rise. We've had so many issues that we all know about, we see about it, you cover it in the media. But what is it that we're doing to actually minimize these increasing numbers? What can we learn from other states? What can we learn from others that have gone before? What can we just put great minds together on from a bipartisan state? This group is remarkably experienced. This group has a tremendous perspective from a whole variety of views that are going to be important as we address criminal justice reform. It is my intent that Kentucky will lead the way, that we will become a beacon for other states to follow, and that we will address some of the very issues that we've talked about. I defy anyone to look at the 22 people on this council and tell me that there is any constituency that is not represented, including those who prosecute crimes in this state. Commonwealth attorneys, we have judges, we have absolute ample representation, and the people who are on this committee were chosen very intentionally for their qualifications, for their knowledge of this actual topic, and for their ability to bring that knowledge and those qualifications to bear in a very bipartisan program, because again, the partisanship should have nothing to do with this or anything else. And as was noted, as it relates to this, and unlike other things that have been done in the past, where maybe we do panels and we do blue ribbon studies or whatever the case might be, I'm not interested in another something that goes on a shelf and is dusty. In the Commonwealth, I was elected to fix things that are broken. This is my job. And so I take this very seriously. And this is a group of people who will come forward with ideas, and my intent is to see these ideas be turned into legislation that will be passed, that we will all be better for. Because I'm not going to sit around and wait and hope that things get better. If there is something that needs to be fixed, that is my responsibility to step forward and fix it.
Our system is badly broken and is in need of reform. And despite the fact that we've made significant reforms over the past several years, we remain in distress, as most states do. Kentucky now hopes to join 30 states, as we have done in the past, at making additional reforms, as the federal government lags behind but is now finally coming to the table. The case for reform makes itself. The numbers jump off the page, and we'll learn that over the next 6 months of intensive review and study. We'll drill down behind the numbers, and I think the case will make itself. But what strikes me about this governor and about this task force is that it's not just about the numbers. And I hope that you listen closely to the stories that you'll hear from Nathan and West as they tell you their personal journeys. And I hope you also understand that a young man could not be here today. His name is Nathan. He couldn't be here today because he was caring for a sick family member. Again, reinforcing the notion, he's been in recovery 6 years, that he is now caring for a sick family member. So restoration and redemption is possible.
This is very important for, people coming out of prison. When you go to prison, basically it's a college, really, for criminals. You go in, you come out, they have you sit around with all these criminals, and either you learn to be a better criminal, or you regret what you did to get in there in the first place and want to come out and never go back. Unfortunately, most people go in the same way they came out, except a little bit smarter, with criminology, basically. So they end up going back. They come out with no hope or, weapons to, move forward. So they're basically stuck in a rut. It's sad, but it's true. We got to do something about, give these people some type of trade training, education, something to give them something to move forward with in their lives. That's the only way I see we can stop people from returning. It's just a revolving door.
And I think the governor wants all of us to know as well, in this task force, that public safety will be paramount. Public safety will be number one. Nothing will risk public safety. In no way will this effort risk public safety. Nothing we do. Everything will be assessed to benefit and enhance public safety. But there is a point at which incarceration has a diminishing return, at which, as Wes pointed to, those inmates become criminogenic. In other words, their risk for greater crime occurs upon their release instead of decreases. And that'll be our aim moving forward. And it's our hope that by saving those precious tax dollars that we spend in incarceration, now well over the 22,000 number we used some time ago, we can reinvest those dollars in law enforcement to proper policing and prosecution of the crimes we need to be protected from.
I've got 3 beautiful children now and a wife, and it's just very frustrating having opportunities come up and going through the process of actually getting your life together and starting to feel positive, and then a background check just knocks you down for something that you did as a child, as a young man, and it just continues to haunt you through your entire life. It's a nightmare. I can't express my opinion in voting. Can't vote. Can't do anything because this thing that I did 7 years ago continues to haunt me. So I'm very, very in favor of all this that's going on, and I really hope that something changes, not only for Kentucky, but for everybody.
Each one of these was an important accomplishment and an enormous milestone in its own right, but none of them took on the full task of looking at Kentucky's criminal code to make sure it is doing what it's supposed to do for the victims of a crime, for the accused, for every person that's in the system. And it gives me a lot of joy to know that that's what we're here to start doing.
Addressing these pervasive issues is the key to solving the problems of the revolving door of incarceration and allowing these folks to re-enter the workforce and society and be productive members. This effort should strive to seek a more substantive, humane, and productive long-range solutions, with an S, solutions, that will benefit Kentuckians and the future of the Commonwealth.